The Herd Museum is a private, nonprofit organization located in Phoenix, Arizona. It was founded in 1929 by Dwight and May Herd to house their personal collection. The museum is dedicated to the advancement of American Indian art. It presents the stories of American Indian people and holds exhibitions that showcase the beauty and vitality of traditional and contemporary art. It also hosts festivals, offers educational programs, and it contains archives and a library with over 34,000 volumes. So that the sculpture in the center there is shown here. It's called Intertribal Greeting. It's bronze 2003 by Doug Hyde. And the museum actually has a large sculpture garden, so we're going to start with a few of those works. So on the right here are the museum gates, and on the left is another sculpture by Doug Hyde. This one is of stone. It's called Navajo Water Girl. And this is a pair of bronze statues called Woman Dash Man. The front view is on the left and the back is on the right. It's 1991 by Nora Naranjo Morse. And this bronze is called Seaweed People. It's 1994 by John Hoover. And Flag Song, again by Doug Hyde, 1983. And this is of pink marble. This is called Window to the Past. It's also bronze, 1999 by Roxanne Swentzel. And she's from the Santa Clara Pueblo. So these next three slides show hand-woven baskets, which are an important native art form. The first gallery I visited in this museum had a collection of baskets from the three tribes shown, dating from 1900 to 1930. During that time, the natives had been living through decades of great change and hardship. The growth of Anglo-settler towns in Arizona, combined with confinement to reservations and greatly reduced resources, meant that selling baskets became a valuable source of income. The baskets express stories of origin, the land, and animals. The weavers had deep knowledge of the environment, and they gathered and processed natural materials to form the baskets and designs. Unfortunately, the artists' names and stories were not always recorded, so today they are referred to as artists once known. So these are more recent Navajo baskets by Joanne Johnson. The one on the left is called High Moon Over Monument Valley from 2002. And the other two are Bicentennial Train and Old Number 9 Train, and they're both from the 1990s. Another important art form is hand-built pottery, both ancient and contemporary. This is an ancestral Pueblo canteen dated 1100 to 1250. Note that the sprout is flanked by dog effigy handles. And these are two more ancestral Pueblo pieces. On the right is a dipper dated 1150 to 1300, and on the left is a large jar dated a little later between 1275 and 1325. This one's much later, around 1900, and I didn't get any more information on it, unfortunately. This is an Acoma jar by Marie Chino from about 1968, and she's from the Acoma Pueblo. And two Zuni jars, they're about 100 years apart. On the left, it's from the 1800s. It's a railbird styled water storage jar. The jagged lines represent lightning, and the hatches depict rain. On the right is a jar from 1983, also with the rainbird design, that was a collaboration among three Nahohe family members. So this is another Zuni jar, probably about 1900, and again, I neglected to get the information on it. So on the left here is a Santa Clara Pueblo jar. It's from about 1970 by Virginia Ebelwacker. They started to create carved designs about 1922. The Santa Clara Pueblo Indians are one of several independent native Tewa groups whose ancestral homelands are located along the Rio Grande River. And here's two more photos of blackware pieces. The bowl on the right is from the San Ildefonso Pueblo, about 1934, by Maria and Julian Martinez. Both the Santa Clara and the San Ildefonso Pueblos are known for their blackware pottery, in which the pots are hand-built from coils. And this is a jar from another Tewa group, the Hopi Tewa. It's about from the 1930s. And another Hopi Tewa jar from the 1920s by Annie Nampeo. And these are Hopi Katsina dolls. Katsinas are the spirit messengers of the universe, representing all things in the natural world, as well as Hopi ancestors. And here's another group. There's many, many varieties of these. And another spiritual art form is sand painting. This one's from 2004 by Rosie Yellowhair. It depicts the Navajo creation or emergence story. So the art of weaving, both blankets and baskets, is very important, and the items shown here are all Navajo. So beading is another art form. This shows an assortment of Apache pouches dating from 1900 to 1930. And last but not least is the art of native jewelry. On the left are Navajo turquoise necklace and bracelets made in the 1970s by Mark Chi. And on the right are Navajo concho belts of tooled silver. So moving now to more contemporary artworks. This is only a section of a larger work called Indigenous Evolution. It was from 2004 by Tony Jajola and Isleta and Rosemary Lone Wolf. It's an art fence which references the land of the Southwest and the organic fences built by Native people. So a major contemporary art exhibit at the museum when I was there juxtaposed works by Cherokee artist Kay Walkingstick with 19th century American landscapes by Hudson River school painters. The exhibition revealed a shared reverence for nature and a mutual belief in the agency of art to shape humankind's relationship to the land. However, Walkingstick's paintings challenged the Hudson River School artists' conception of wilderness and recenter Indigenous people as the original and ongoing stewards of their homelands. So Walkingstick, who is over 90 years old, said, "I hope that viewers will leave this museum with renewed sense of how beautiful and precious our planet is, and with the realization that those of us living in the Western Hemisphere are all living on Indian territory." So this first acrylic painting that I'm showing here was from 1973. It's by Walkingstick, and it's called Hudson Reflection 6. And it explores undulating reflections in the Hudson River near her then home in New Jersey. And this diptych is from about 1991. It's called Late Summer on the Ramapo River. It pairs geometric abstraction with representational landscape, expressing two different types of memory. One is a snapshot of a particular place and time, and the other represents a long-term memory of our Earth. And this is called Catalucci from 2007. It's oil on panel. And New Hampshire Coast from 2020, also oil on panel. The patterned band hovers over the terrain as if to protect and mediate access to it. So now we're going to look at some other contemporary artworks. This is Deer Rattle, Deer Dancer. It's an acrylic by painter Frank Lapina. And this is called Universal Family. It's a mixed media from 1970 by Navajo Mary Moretz. And Kachina Mesa, number 4, from 2001, an acrylic by Hopi artist Dan Naming. And Stars Over Green Wells. This is an oil from 2022 by Thomas Breeze Marcus. And it's named for a creation story about how stars were made. So the next slides are of bronze works, are by Chiricahua Apache Alan Hauser. So this is Spirit of the Wind from 1992, and this is War Pony from 1978, and We Will Soon Be Home, 1983. And this lovely piece is called Woman in Love. It's of stainless steel from 1983 by Bob Hazos, and he's also a Chiricahua Apache. And now just a couple of vintage photographs by William Sewell. This is Arapaho Mother and Child from about 1874. And this is a boy called Tarlo, and he's shown dressed in Osage regalia in 1872. So the Heard Museum has a very high-end gift shop that is more like a fine art gallery. So here's just a few shots of some of the items. These are the rugs, and just a sampling of the pottery and some samples of the jewelry. And I especially like these pieces. They're based on petroglyphs. So there's this large outdoor ceramic mural, which was a collaboration by ceramic artist Nina Solomon and Navajo artist D.Y. Begay, who is best known for her weaving. And here's a detail. The work is called Floating Weft Mosaic, and it reflects a fusion of Navajo weaving with handmade ceramic tiles. And this last work provides a great segue to the second part of my talk, which is about an exhibition of works by the same Navajo weaver who designed the ceramic mural. It was called Sublime Light, Tapestry Art of D.Y. Begay, and it was at the National Museum of the American Indian in Washington, D.C. from September 2024 to July 2025. It featured 48 of her works that were created over 3 decades. Begay's inspiration is her homeland on the Navajo Nation Reservation, where she was born in 1953. Her tapestry art is both fundamentally modern and essentially Navajo. Her artworks bridge traditional weaving with experimental fiber art. She says, I delight in exploring ways to express my own style and in developing personal interpretations that capture the soul of the terrain. My weavings are an intimate response to the topography of my origin. The natural world is an endless source of inspiration for me. I live and practice a traditional lifestyle. In my culture, we believe that the plants, the animals, the earth, and the sky have voices that are transmitted through the atmosphere. The deities of these natural elements wait for the earth people to speak to them and to request permission to collect the plants and extract pigments to create colors for our weavings. The palettes woven in each tapestry are blessed and sanctioned for me to be my narrative. I know that the spiritual entities of the plants, the insects, and the earth and pigments hear my voice and acknowledge my offering. So this shows hand-dyed indigo yarn hanging to dry. Begay works with an entire spectrum of blue that she can create from the dye. So on the left, the indigo dye is shown in its powdered form. On the right are yarns left to dry after being hand-dyed with cochineal, black walnut hulls, purple and yellow onion skins, Osage orange, and cosmos plant. Cochineal is an insect that lives on cactus, which can yield a deep red color and a range of pinks and purples. Other dyes are made from lichen and roots of madder, mahogany, and elkonet. Begay's work with dyes is often experimental and a critical element of her creative process. Her tapestries are often composed of wave-like, non-symmetrical bands with gradations of color expressing the natural phenomenon of her high desert homeland. So the following pieces we're going to look at were all woven with a variety of wools and mostly colored with natural plant and insect dyes, although she did use some synthetic dyes in these. So Also, I quote her repeatedly, and the quotes are edited and also sometimes paraphrased, but hopefully, um, the meaning she expressed still comes through. So this first piece is called Dakota Style from 2002. Um, it is from a series of tapestry based on Plains Indian rawhide bags, which are made and decorated by women. And this is called Transformation from 2012. In this piece, Begay creates the illusion of vibration by combining intense graduated insect red hues with plant derived indigo as a representation of varied horizons. She says, "The horizon is not a straight line across the sky. I've come to really study and look at the line, the formation that a horizon creates, and it's different everywhere. Things are not perfect. There should never be a perfect line. There should never be a perfect color." So this one's called Confluence of Lavender from 2016. The lavender wool was colored with alkanet root, which is a European dye, and it produces a hue it's not typically seen in Navajo weaving. This is Shadows of Kota from 2009. Begay says, "I have a conversation with the plants. When I harvest them for dyeing, I speak to the Kota plant, pronouncing its name in Navajo to get its blessings and permission to harvest it. I made an offering to the plant people with a sprinkling of corn pollen to bless the plant for providing medicine, dye, and food." And this is called Blessing of Rain from 2015. And according to Begay, rain brings people joy. On the reservation, we pray for rain for the animals and plants. And this is Weaving's Voice 2017, inspired by dawn colors on a tabletop mountain. And Illuminating Big Water from 2023. This tapestry is a reminder of Changing Woman, a Navajo female deity who said, "I shall return to my children with the wind before me, the rain behind me, and the rainbow above me," as she departed for her home on the Western Ocean. In this piece, as the golden sun rays radiate the surface of the earth and the flora, from 2021, captures the first glimmers of dawn's glow over a field of gently swaying grasses outside Begay's home, which is a traditional Navajo hogan. And this is Landscape Blues from 2017, woven entirely with shades of indigo. This represents the reflection of light on rippling water. And Mazes and Mazes from 2020 shows formations aligned in receding rows, each gradually disappearing in tone and blending into the surroundings. And this is Winter in the North, 2017. This one is not only made of wool, but also mohair, cotton, silk, and linen. It captures the essence of an icy winter day and the clear contours of a misty lake shoreline. And in 2013, this is The Edge. This piece was meant to integrate the self-formations of the sky and to intensify the sunset colors. And this is Monumental Edge Monumental Edge 2 from 2020. The throbbing visual effect of this piece was created by introducing a thin streak of silver and blending 15 shades of insect chrism. According to Begay, at dawn and dusk, it is red that energizes her imagination. And from 2015, this is called Intended Vermilion. It's inspired by the towering geologic formation in northern Arizona known as Vermilion Cliffs, which are named for their brilliant red sandstone colors. And this is Verdi Terrain from 2021. It's inspired by desert landscape after monsoon, when each plant blooms a different shade of green. And this is The Place of Many Rocks from 2024. It depicts a stunning valley treasured by Begay's relatives and community because their ancestral roots are grounded there. And this is called The Natural. It was beginning with this piece in 1994 that Begay began looking to the colors of her Navajo homeland for inspiration. And this is Mountains Behind the Hogan, 1999. It depicts layered earthy colors of the stratified mesas behind Begay's traditional Navajo home. And this is Blue Valley from 2006. The top and bottom patterns depict waves of gray and indigo ground, as if anticipating a storm. The center panel offsets those darker sections with lighter shades of lavender, gray, and cream. And from 2004, this is Regional Mood. Begay says, when I weave soft wavy lines and bands, I am mindful to let my ideas flow and let the shapes create themselves. I can't be too controlling. Nature is upset by wind, rain, and whatever, so I try to keep that in mind. And this is Red Earth from 2007. Red is the color of danger and confrontation, and this piece symbolizes a mythological lower world where pre-human creatures, the 12 insects, dwelled and struggled while seeking harmony. This is called Floating Weft from 2007. And this is Alabama from 2005. Using colors of the high desert, this work uses a more geometric design to depict the mesas. And this is called Natural 2 from 2010. It's inspired by colors in dry stream beds when rain restores and enriches the hues of soil. According to Begay, these natural events ignite her creative energy. And this is Transformation 2010. It's made of wools and also has some silk in it. This tapestry depicts an abstract landscape with evolving, bold, geometric shapes suggesting mesas. And this one's called Another Phase, Red, from 2003. It shows a bold, crisp pattern with clean edges, perfectly aligned straight lines, and even bands, which were a challenge for Begay to achieve. And this is Youth Style, 2004. This design references blankets that Navajo people wove and traded to the Utes and other tribes during the 19th century. The composition appears simple, but according to Begay, controlling straight rows and bands is challenging. So this simple blanket is called 2 Points from 2008. And about this piece, Begay said, I am intrigued with the simplicity of the pattern that is woven with only 2 colors. The natural white dominates the composition. It is calming and clean, yet bold. I appreciate its simple beauty, which emulates historic trade blankets that were basic commodities. And this is Night Waves from 2013. It has wool and mohair and plant dyes. It captures the time of the day when the sun falls, leaving its colors behind. Begay said, I waited for these colors to fade into the night and seized that brief moment. And from 2008, this is Night Way. It's inspired by a lightning storm coming over the mountains behind her hogan. The Navajo have a healing ritual called the Blackening Ceremony, or Night Way. This ceremony was in the back of her mind as she incorporated the different shades of black. And from 2022, this is Enchanted Indigo. It captures the essence and healing qualities of the many shades of indigo. And this is Palette of Cochineal from 2013, and it's inspired by those dyes which come from Peru. And Feasting on Green, 2015. The 14 different shades of green and 8 shades of pale yellow green woven in this piece resulted in a soothing harmony of colors and patterns. And from 2000, this is Landscape 2. As children, Begay says, our evenings were quiet, and all about gazing at the sunset as it slowly descended behind the hogan, arranging red, orange, gold, golden orange, peach, pink, bright orange, and many other indescribable colors. And finally, Sunset Mesas from 2006. Mesas are sparse yet picturesque and mesmerizing. The colors are incredible, and I can't get enough of the physical beauty that paints my Navajo homeland. And thank you, in Navajo.